Hello and welcome to this week's weekly reading. I have brought in some really lovely stabilizing crystals, as you can see here, really helping to ground us for this week where we're between the Sagittarius new moon we just had and the Gemini full moon coming up. Some pink pepper to just sharpen our mind and relax our muscles, and very much the same with frankincense, which is known as the king of oils that will really cover everything needed. And then also just bringing in a flame, because we're in Sagittarius season and Sagittarius and candles go hand in hand. Sagittarius and spirituality go hand in hand, just like frankincense is known to be used in religious and spiritual spaces. So just thinking about choosing a card between 1 and 4. And it really feels to me like this week our focus is that dynamic between Gemini and Sagittarius in a really, really big way. So it's Sagittarius season, and we've got Mercury in Sagittarius. Mercury is how we think, the stories we tell, our logic and reason. We have Venus there. She's what we value and how we love and how we want to be loved. She has quite a good handle on finances and resources as well. And then we have the sun there as well, shining his big bright light and really exposing us to all sorts of things in Sag. But what's happening this week, remember that we have Mars retrograde in Gemini, which is opposite Sagittarius. And this week, both Mercury, I think it's on Wednesday for Mercury and Thursday for Venus, but I might have those days a little bit wrong. Look it up if you're interested. But both of them are going to be opposite that Mars retrograde in Gemini. And I feel like that is very much informing this reading. And even though this reading is primarily upside down cards, I kind of feel like it's the Mars retrograde saying, whoa, we're supposed to be a little bit backwards and upside down right now to address the elephant in the room. And remembering the dynamic between Gemini and Sag is like beginner mind versus higher learning. It's curious, interested, intuitive, wanting to learn more versus converting into wisdom, ritual, and expanded awareness, expanded travel, etc. So let's jump in and have a look at our cards. As you can see, all but the final one upside down. And I actually love how we've got the Ace of Wands as our initiating card here. You can see there she is with that beautiful Sagittarian flame, and her eyes are closed, but the light is coming in, the creativity, the spark, the new energy. Upside down, a bit of a creative block. And again, that's kind of where I'm feeling like Mars needs us to be. And it's not really a creative block so much as it's not the time to act on what is incubating for us right now, and allowing us to slow down a bit and let it incubate. But yes, there definitely can be a sense of I do have a creative block. I'm not quite getting done what I want to do. And that is really going to start maybe irritating, but I want you to try and relax through that if you can, especially if this was your particular card for the week. But even if it wasn't, it is our anchor card. So it's setting the scene. And then the hermit comes in upside down, and also the hermit in its right way up is very nicely connected to that Sagittarius about seeking kind of enlightenment and that inner understanding and inner knowing, your inner light and insight. And it's a bit of a solitary journey. And Sagittarius loves a journey, but like a pilgrimage almost. But when it's upside down, it's like you're seeking and never finding. You're doing all this traveling, and you always think the grass will be greener on the other side. The answer will come when you reach that next milestone, next horizon, and so on. But actually, it's like you're holding yourself back from healing. So again, with it being upside down and next to the upside down Ace of Wands, I have this strong sense of just hold on. Mars is retrograde in Gemini, saying just hold on. Get still, get quiet, survey the options. Don't rush into things. Don't feel like you have to always go deeper with the Hermit or get moving on that creative project with the Ace of Wands, but rather just pause and observe. And I think very much observe the emotions that are showing up. What is uncomfortable? And then be curious about that. Why is that uncomfortable? And with the value system, like, is that uncomfortable because I wasn't ever allowed to slow down in my family? That's not how we did things. Or whatever it may be for you, just start to trace that back. Why does that make me so uncomfortable? And then ask yourself, when you get to the bottom of it, is that still true for me now? Or am I just acting on habit? Then our third card is the King of Pentacles, and we love the King of Pentacles, but when he's upside down, sometimes he's a little bit obsessed with making money, with hitting those targets, and he's kind of forgetting to, in his upright form, he's such a relaxed, grounded, practical, wise older man energy. And you're just like, oh, thank goodness. You can think of the wise grandfather who always just has the practical solutions for you, but he doesn't have the sense of being rushed or pressured. He has a sort of a deep sense of trust because he's tried and failed and tried and failed and tried and succeeded and failed and succeeded. And he realizes that there's no rush a little bit, and in his upside down form, it's just saying, well, either you're in one of those, I've just failed and I need a little bit of time to pick myself up, or you're putting so much pressure on yourself to succeed, to hit that target, to make that mint, so that you feel like you are the wise Pentacles king. And as it's not happening, it's throwing you into a bit of a tailspin, and you're not able to trust your own judgment, trust your own practicality, and your solution finding. In fact, a lot of this reading through the first three cards is saying that we're not trusting our judgment right now. We're not able to rely on ourselves and trust ourselves. But I think a lot of that comes back to what we're also seeing in these cards of, if we slow down for long enough to get real and to drop into our heart space and our heart wisdom, then and to develop the relationship with ourselves where we feel we can trust ourselves. Because if you've got this wounded inner child or inner teenager or even a wounded adult in you that's lost trust in the people in their lives, the governments that run the countries in which you live, and whatever it is, like all the things that you've lost trust in, if you've got those parts inside of yourself, which we all do, you have got to actually develop a sense of trust where you are reliable for yourself. You show up for yourself. You do the self-care. You fill your cup. You are honest and authentic and open with yourself about how you feel and how you deal. Because if you can become reliable and trustworthy for yourself, then you will trust your own instincts and your own intuition. And remember that Sag season is very much about trusting the gut instinct and trusting the intellect, because it's a centaur. Sag is a centaur, half man, half horse, or woman, half horse. And it's got that sort of instinctual horse half and intellectual human half. So it feels very important for us to kind of get down to basics with those two parts of ourselves. And depending which one you've ignored most, maybe that's where your focus of building trust in your relationship with self can come. But I do feel like the end of the week brings us the Six of Swords, which, although you can see, and it's upright, first of all, the last card is our only upright card. And although you can see she's a little sad, she's wrapped herself in the red grounding energy of her shawl. She's holding a rather large trunk, and she's heading in a direction. Maybe that wouldn't have been the direction she would have taken by choice, but she has this kind of resigned, surrendered energy. And also you can see three of the crows are pulling her towards the shore because she doesn't have oars, and three are flying away. Now, I find that also interesting in terms of the Mars and Gemini energy, because we have two choices. There's always two choices when Gemini is involved. And some of those things, just where does the help come from? You never actually know. And sometimes it's the unlikely source. And I feel with the Six of Wands now, if we slow down like the three first cards have kind of suggested and trust in ourselves, we might find that it's not the people or situations we thought we needed to rely on to get us safely to shore, to the new shore, because this is all about new shores, new horizons. There's no denying that the last few years have been
extremely intense and have been shaking the foundations of us each individually, but also collectively in our own countries and communities, and then even broader than that, globally, that we're all being shifted and we are all looking for what is my new horizon and what is the new shore upon which I should land my boat. And there aren't actually any oars and there aren't actually any directions to this new shore because it's that new. It's never been done before. And that's very overwhelming and daunting. But in the Six of Swords, help has arrived and she has what she needs in her trunk. Not everything she's left behind, but she has what she needs. And the swords is an air card, which means it's our thinking process. So in this, again, it's like, okay, I have to let go of what I wanted it to be, who I thought would be my heroes, and who were my villains. Maybe this is all new for me, and I'm not jumping up and down for joy about that at this point, but I've accepted it and I can feel that I am being taken care of, even if I don't understand what that is. So I think it's quite a good end to the week. And even the upside down cards feel like they're really just drilling us down into some important things that we need to deal with, which in the way that I read cards, astrology, energy, people's patterns in healing sessions, it's always coming to that. There is a grand design that we can't fully understand, but it's ultimately for our greatest good and it's happening for us and not to us. So I hope you have a wonderful week and I look forward to having any comments and your shares, likes, follows, subscribes are all very appreciated. And remember, I am available for readings.